Hey team, hope you're doing well. Today's topic I wanted to go over what is the 10-10-10 marathon strategy. A lot of runners may have never heard of it, but the 10-10-10 marathon strategy is focusing on three specific sections of the marathons. The first 10 miles, the second 10 miles taking you to the 20-mile mark, and then that last 10 kilometers, the last 6.2 miles of the race. And without a doubt, I think the hardest part of the marathon, even if you're in great aerobic and anaerobic shape, is running that last 10 kilometers equal to your goal race pace or running at a faster than goal race pace in that last 10 kilometers. And again, it comes down to proper preparation and not going out too fast in the race. I made the same mistake early on in my career too. I started running in 1992. Started running marathons in 2002. So it wasn't until 10 years after I started that I actually got involved in marathoning. And if you would have asked me when I was in high school or in college that I would have ever ran a marathon, I would have told you you're crazy, because I was focused on breaking the 4-minute mile. I didn't quite have the leg speed for that. Ended up running 4 minutes and 22 seconds for the 1,609 meters, the full mile, when I was in college. And strangely enough, found that the marathon was probably my best event. I ended up running 2:19:35. But that being said, I think in sharing my successes and also my failures in this sport, I hope that it helps runners such as yourself surpass what you think right now you're capable of. Because I think a lot of athletes, including myself over the years too, we have our goals we of what we think we can run. But then we go out and just get in a flow state. We taper down correctly. We do a 10-day taper that I talk about rather than a 3-week taper. We don't start dropping volume and intensity too far out from our main race. And then we just go out there and run a race that just blows our minds, okay? I felt like I was able to possibly break a 2-hour and 22-minute marathon. Ended up running 2:19:35. So you maybe your personal best right now, I'll say like a 3:20 or 3:10, and you're trying to get to 2:55 or 2:50, or maybe you're at 5 hours right now and you're trying to and you're dreaming about breaking 4 hours. You can do it. It's just a matter of tenacity and being willing to continue over a long period of time, not in a matter of months, but in a matter of years, to get to a point where you get in that golden flow. I mean, you're in that flow state where the stars align, all of your trainings come together, and you run a phenomenal time. Okay, that's what I've tried to create on RunDreamAchieve.com is the training plans and running courses. Obviously, with monthly coaching, I work with athletes that are focused on the marathon, focused on all events, 5K, track and field, 800 meter, all the way up to the ultra marathon distances. And I always talk about this 10-10-10 strategy. Okay, you do not want to, when it comes to the marathon, you don't want to try to win this race in the first 10 miles of the race. Okay, once you get to 20 miles, you get to 32 kilometers, and you have paced yourself properly, okay, you can run that last 10 kilometers at a much faster pace, or preferably, if you're having a really hard time, to maintain that pace that you ran in, say, the first 10 miles, okay? It's a much more difficult task for the marathon distance if you're running that last 10 kilometers, 30 seconds to a minute slower per mile in the last 10 kilometers, okay? So I always preach the importance of longer, faster, long runs, not running long, slow distance runs every single weekend. Because again, you want to improve the body's lactate tolerance, and you're not going to be able to do that if you're running too much of your weekly volume too easy. Okay, so you look at the best middle to long distance runners, they're running around 35 to 40% of their weekly volume at lactate threshold effort or faster. Guys like athletes like Jakob Ingebrigtsen of Norway. Okay, this is somebody obviously extremely talented, but he's an example of somebody that spends a great deal of his weekly volume running at high quality mileage. Okay, I don't know how slow he runs on his easy days, but Jakob is definitely an anomaly. Okay, he's an outlier when it comes to this. But then again, he's been training since he was a child, very, very young, over many, many years. Now I think he's 20 or 21 years old, and he's the Olympic champion. He just set an Olympic record in at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. You know, he's one of the six fastest milers in history. He ran a 3:46.46 for the mile. But these are examples of athletes that are spending a great deal of their weekly volume running at a higher percentage of their heart rate, their max heart rate. Okay, my advice to you, if you're training for the marathon, do quality work. Make sure you're putting in quality mileage, but at the same time, make sure that you're jogging on easy days. Get beyond what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running on those easy days. Okay, when I went out and ran my hard long runs, training, prior to breaking 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon, I would run those hard runs very hard, or in sections of those long runs extremely hard. Okay, running varied pace long runs, like I talk about. Sometimes I'd be running sections of the long run at, say, 5:30 mile pace at 6,000 feet. Running very easy sections of that long run, say at like 6:35 to 7:35 mile pace. Then running at closer to my 3K to 5K race pace, around 4:55, dropping a 4:55 mile every fourth mile of, say, a 20 miler. Okay. But then the following weekend, when I ran my easy, relaxed long run that I talk about, I always talk about alternating. Okay. Run a faster, varied pace long run one weekend, followed the next weekend by an easy, relaxed jog long run. Okay. I would run 8-9 minute mile pace on my easy, relaxed long run versus running under 5 minute mile pace for sections of not the entire long run, but sections of it. And then, say, like moderate effort, 5:30, 5:45 mile pace for sections of that varied pace long run. So get beyond just running long, slow, and easy every single weekend for those long runs. And I promise you, you're going to start seeing some massive results in your marathon preparation. But the 10-10, what is the 10-10-10 marathon strategy? Again, it's the first 10 miles, the second 10 miles, which takes you to 20 miles, and then your last 10 kilometers. My advice is to focus on, in terms of your pacing strategy, is focus on a negative split. Okay, run the second half of your marathon faster than you run the first half. Okay, there's some examples of athletes that will go out much faster the first half and slow down the second half and still set a personal best. Okay, just an example. When I ran 2:19.35, I went out in 1:07.09 through the half marathon, came back with a 1:12.26. So a positive split. Okay, looking back, if I would have went out in 1:12.26 the first half, I don't know if I would have ran a 1:07.09 for that second half. Sometimes after you taper down, you just got to go for it. Okay, but don't, be realistic. If your goal is to run, say, a sub 3 hour marathon, don't go out that first half, 1:20 that first half. Okay, I think that's still a little too aggressive, but going out, say, in 1:28, 1:27, I think is reasonable, and then coming back a little quicker. But if you want to do it the right way, try to go out, say, in like 1:33, 1:34 the first half, and then come back with, say, like a 1:22 or 1:23. Okay, so it's just about proper pacing. Obviously, your training has got to be on point when you're in your preparation. Make sure you're hydrating well in training. If you look at the best marathoners, they drink in their races. They don't sip. Okay, so hydration, your nutrition is absolutely essential to get this event right. Okay, and I'll say I've run 2:19, but I've also had other setbacks along the way before I got it right. Okay, I ran 2:50s, I ran 2:40s, I ran 2:30s several times. I ran over 3 hours a couple times. I think my slowest was 3:06, and that was like kind of walking and jogging the last 15 miles of the race. Really bad efforts, but in terms of my capability. So I think for all of you who are trying to get this event right, focus on, in terms of the 10-10-10 strategy, focus on running that last 10 kilometers fast, a fast, hard, aggressive effort. Okay, really focus on being patient in the first 10 miles of the race. Start your game plan once you pass that first 16 kilometers and really focus on those next 16 kilometers or the next 10 miles and gradually increase your pacing, but don't try to really start making a major move in the marathon. I personally wouldn't try to make a major move until I got past the first half. Okay, you're going to make your money in that last 10 kilometers because that is where most marathoners are the weakest mentally and the weakest physically. So I hope this is helpful in terms of what is the 10-10-10 marathon strategy and kind of the things you need to be thinking about in terms of your training, in terms of your mindset going into your major race. And feel free to leave me a comment below. Check out all the resources below all of my videos or on RunDreamAchieve.com. They're there to definitely help speed up your learning curve, and I hope surpass what you think currently you're capable of. And I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.